So in this video, I'm going to show you some great tips and techniques you can use to memorize your favorite Bible verses and any other scriptures you want to memorize. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, Israel Kim here from Win That Word, and just before we get into today's video, leave a comment below this video letting me know if you ever tried to memorize Bible verses before and how it actually went. I'd love to know and take the conversation further, so let's continue it down in the comment section below. So what we're going to get into in today's video is I'm going to give you some tips and techniques that I've used personally in order to continue and strengthen my Bible verse memorization. And also in today's video, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to give you a free app that's really beneficial at doing what I'm going to talk about. So let's get into it, alright? So before I tell you what app to use, I want to show you a great strategy you can use to memorize Bible verses. And it's not even specifically just about how to memorize the Bible verses specifically. You see what I mean? Okay, so one thing I did when I was learning Bible doctrine and stuff like that was I found myself categorizing scriptures together. What are the scriptures? I'd say, what are the creation scriptures that talk about creation? And I'd think about Genesis, I'd think about some scriptures in Job where God is basically going forth, back and forth, talking about all these things. I think about Isaiah, all these kind of things. You group those scriptures together and it helps you memorize what they are, okay? It's the same with memorizing Bible verses. So one thing I did is I created categories in my mind, okay? Because there was different reasons in my walk why I wanted to memorize certain different things. So one of the things I had in my mind was, I said to myself, I want to be empowered anytime I get fearful, okay? So what are my fearful Bible references? Well, one of them is 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. And what does that say? That says, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, okay, but of power and of love and of a sound mind, okay? So this is about fear. What else? Another fear verse that I have is Psalms 27 verse 1. And what does it say? The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Okay? The Lord is the light and the strength of my life. Okay, of whom shall I be afraid? Something similar to that anyway. And can you see how just by categorizing these things together, it gives you insights, okay? Another thing, okay, is, let's say, another thing in regards to fear is Psalms 50. What does it say? And thou shalt call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. Okay? And just by me categorizing these are my verses I want to memorize based on when I get scared. Okay? If I'm ever in a fearful position, what can I do? What are the scriptures about fear in the scriptures? No, God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but He's given me the spirit of power and of might, of power and love and of a sound mind. Okay, Psalm 27, the Lord is my light, okay, and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Okay, I'm going to call upon Him in the day of trouble. He's going to deliver me, and I'll glorify Him. Okay, that's fear. What else can we talk about? We can talk about teaching. Okay. What could I do here? I could say, one, in regards to teaching and knowing what certain things you can teach to certain different people are. Let's say Joshua 8 verse 35. And what does that say? There was not a word of all the law of Moses that Joshua read not before the children of Israel, or something along those lines, of men, of women, and children that were conversant among them. And why is that special? That's interesting for me because it reminds me, okay, Joshua read the whole law, okay? There's some things in the law that at the time that you might have been saying to yourself, no, I don't want this person to know, are my kids too young to know this? All that could hear with understanding, all that were conversant among them, okay? So if you could converse and you could talk about certain things, he shared it with you, okay? Conversing. What else? Nehemiah 8 verse 2. What does it say? And Ezra the priest brought forth the law before the congregation, both of the women and men, both the men and the women and strangers and all that could hear with understanding, something along those lines, okay? Upon the first day of the 7th month. And I know I might be butchering some of these verses. I'll highlight all of them as I'm saying them, but the point I'm trying to make is you associate these things together and then you can reel them off easily. What else do we have? Let's say, for example, excuses, okay? We all make excuses in our life. What's one for me that I use to kind of get around it? Genesis 5 verse 22, what does it say? It says, and Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. What is that? How does that relate to excuses? Because we always make excuses. Oh, my kids are getting in the way. This is a guy who walked with God for 300 years after having Methuselah, okay, and had sons and daughters. So he continued to have sons and daughters, the scripture says, but he had the testimony that he walked with God, and because of that, he was not, okay? He didn't die. So if this guy can continue having sons and daughters and still maintain a strong relationship with God, so can I, okay? It's just that simple. What else? I'm sure you get the point of what I'm basically doing here, okay? You categorize these things specifically and then you memorize them as it goes, okay? Let's talk about speech, okay? James 1, I think it's 19 to 20 or 18 to 19. Wherefore, beloved brethren, let every one of you be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Okay? Slow to speak. This is another one. Proverbs 15 verse 1. A soft word turneth away wrath. Okay? They might say a bit more, I can't remember, but that's not even one I specifically try and memorize. And remember I said I'm going to tell you an app that helps you with all of this stuff to create these categories, and then you can do it. What's another one? Psalms 34 verse 13. Keep my tongue from speaking evil and my lips from speaking guile, or keep my lips from speaking evil and my tongue from speaking guile. Okay? And this is how you can do it. Okay? Now, categories is great. You can see how this works, and obviously I have more in all of these categories, but I want to just do this to give you an example of what I'm actually doing. Okay, I'll have more verses and text under all of this stuff. Okay, another one I can put here just so 15 is it 22 to 23? And Samuel said, hath the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the word of the Lord. Okay? Behold, obedience is better than sacrifice, to obey is better than sacrifice, to hearken than the fat of rams. Because thou hast rejected the voice of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Okay? Obedience is better than sacrifice. Because what did Saul do? Saul at that particular point tried to make an excuse. And Samuel said to him, look, the Lord ultimately doesn't care about burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord. Okay? And he said, because thou hast rejected the voice of God, he has also rejected you from being king. Okay? So don't bring God no silly excuse about, oh, I was doing this for you, when God ultimately wants you to be obedient rather than to sacrifice. Okay? So we've got examples for all of these things. How do we take this category stuff and make it even specialer or better? Okay? Let me not make words. Okay? Number one, why did I create these categories in the first place? Well, for the different scenarios. So yes, when these different scenarios arise, if I ever find myself in a fearful position, I'll start quoting these things. Okay? But more so to the point, what I want you to do is make these categories. Okay? So you might have meditations about kids. Okay? Let's say, for example, you say, I want to know some Bible verses that I can always quote when I'm thinking about my kids. Okay? And then you put your favorite verses in regards to kids there. And what I suggest you do next is, you've got these categories. This is number one. Number two, meditate. Okay? As you're just going about your day-to-day life, just take one of these scriptures and just keep meditating on it. Go about your business, doing what you're doing in your life, but just meditate on it. Think about it day and night. Just say it over and over again. For God hath not given me the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. For God hath not given me the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Okay. Look, 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto God. Okay? A workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. These are all scriptures that I want to remember for all of these different categories. Okay? And as just my day-to-day life's going about, okay, I'm doing all of these different things at different times. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video, or early in the video, I'm going to give you an app that can help you with all of this stuff, okay? Now, the app I want to give you is the app I recommend. It's called Bible Memory. You can get it on your iPhone, you can get it on your Android, and we've got a whole video I did on this, walking you through how to use it. Different to what we've talked about here. I want to post it up here. Make sure you watch that video. Basically, it's going to help you learn how to use the app and how you can start doing stuff like this to get your Bible memorization going. Okay. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, comment below, and share this with your friends, because it's a great benefit and blessing to know scriptures for different scenarios. You can think about it. The next time you're going through turmoil, you have scriptures in your archive, in your mind, that you can quote back and say, you know what, no, this isn't gonna to get the best of me. I'm gonna remember that. Okay, I'm gonna call upon the Lord in the day of trouble. He's gonna deliver me, and I'm gonna glorify Him. Okay, different things. I'm gonna be slow to speak, swift to speak. Sorry, swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Why? Because the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. So every time I'm in an anger state of man, it doesn't work the righteousness of God. I'm going to focus on a soft word, turning away wrath. So if someone's shouting at you and cursing you in anger, you know a soft word can turn it away. Okay? I'm going to ask God, look, keep my tongue from speaking evil and my lips from speaking guile. Okay? I don't want to be saying bad things out of my mouth. These are how you overcome these things. You meditate on it and you become it ultimately. Okay? I'm not going to use my kids as an example. Okay? I've got 2 kids. Enoch had sons and daughters for 300 years and he walked with God, okay? So me having kids, I'm not going to use that as an excuse, okay? Because Enoch didn't use that as an excuse. He got a great report, okay? I'm not going to make the mistake of saying, you know what, God, my offerings and my sacrifices to you mean anything if it means I'm not obeying you. No, okay? And when this happens, I can know the kingship, okay, Saul messed up this for his whole family and lineage, because the prophet Samuel said to him, God would have established you and your family forever, but because you messed up, it's going to go to someone else who's after his own heart. Which ultimately ended up being David, okay? So this is how you use categories, okay, to help with your Bible memorization. This is a great technique and tip. Then you meditate on these verses, and also when it gets into the situation that you need to use it, it'll come up. And thirdly, you read, which is dedicated to showing you using the Bible memory app and how to memorize Bible verses for yourself. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Subscribe below. Thanks and take care.